Hey cruising crew, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexis, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys my honest review of the beautiful brand new Norwegian Aqua cruise ship. So I recently was able to spend 14 days, a back-to-back cruise on this brand new cruise ship, and I want to give you guys my review. So in this review I'm going to be sharing my reviews on the food, the drinks, the overall ship, the attractions, and so much more. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start off with the overall ambiance of the ship. So this ship is obviously brand new, and so it's still sparkly. You can still smell the paint, and it is very classy and modern. And I love the way that they decorated the ship. So walking around, it's just absolutely beautiful. All the furniture is super nice. And yeah, I like the overall look of the ship. The layout is not my favorite just because there's only a couple of floors where you can walk completely through. But other than that, I think that the overall ambiance of the ship is super modern and classy. And I think that I really like that. So for the total ambiance of the ship, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Next, let's go into lodging. So with this, I'm going to include the room, the bathroom, the food, and the drinks. So let's start off with the overall room. So we had a regular balcony room and it was really beautiful. I thought that it was really spacious and the beds were a little higher off the ground, which I really like because that's where I like to stick my luggage. And so it was nice that it was higher off the ground. It had nice storage. So it had multiple shelves and drawers for all of your things. So there's plenty of storage. It also has hooks on the wall already. And the balcony was really spacious. And I think that's because instead of a lounger, they added chairs, like cushion chairs. And I think I really enjoyed this better because sitting on a chair, I feel like is more comfortable than sitting on a lounger for me personally. So the balcony was really nice and spacious. The bathroom was also really nice. It has a nice big sink, and the shower felt really nice and big because the door swiveled, and so it made it easier to get in and out, and it made it feel that much bigger. So the room was absolutely beautiful, no complaints. It is one of those rooms where you have to stick your key into the slot in order to get power or lights, so just keep that in mind. A little tip that I recommend you do is maybe going to guest services and saying that you need a new key because you lost yours, and they'll print you out one like no problem. And so that way you just have an extra key that you can always keep in there. So that's my suggestion. But overall, the room and the bathroom were really. Now let's get into the food and drinks. So let's start off with food. Let's start off with what's included. So there is two main dining rooms, the Commodore room and Hudson's, and you can go there for lunch and dinners. And it's basically like your normal main dining. And so Norwegian Cruise Line is more like laid back, they're more freestyle. And so it's very casual and there's no reservations. So they open at a set time and then you can just go whenever you want. So that's pretty convenient for most people. Now, other options that are included is the buffet. And I will say that this buffet on the Norwegian Aqua was not my favorite. So most buffets are at the back of the ship and they go like all the way around the back. And this one did not. It was only one side. And so it made it feel really crammed and crowded a lot. Since there was only one side, that means that there wasn't that many options. There was still a lot of options for food, but it just felt too small for me, too crowded, and there was long lines for everything, so I didn't like that. But I will say the pizza from the main buffet, it was really, really good. So go grab yourself a slice. Another eatery that's included is called the Indulge Food Hall. And let me tell you, Norwegian Aqua hit it out of the park. Like this was a definite hit for me. So if you've ever been on Virgin Cruise Lines, they have a thing called the galley, and it's basically a food hall with different options, and you can order multiple stuff and sit at a table. It's very casual dining. And so the indulged food hall is very similar to that. However, it is way better. I feel like this is what Virgin was trying to do. So the indulged food hall has so many different options, from like Indian food, barbecue, healthy, and you can sit at any table. Like, there's so much seating in here as well, which is really nice. And every table has its own kiosk or iPad. And basically, what you do is you order from the kiosk or the iPad, and a minute later, someone brings you your food. And it's really nice. And it's not big portions, it's more snack size, which I like because then I got to try so many different things. And yeah, they hit it out of the park with this. We didn't have a problem with the iPads working, we didn't have a problem with slow service. The food was really, really good. Also, what is included is something called the local, and this is more of a sit down restaurant, but it's included. And they have a really, really good burger. And what I like about it is, again, these portions aren't so big. It's a little smaller portions. And so I personally like that. So the local is free as well. You sit down and you can order. And what's really cool is that this is 24 hours. And they also have a special like late night menu. However, I wasn't able to try it, but it was really good. I found that these two eateries in particular were very convenient to have. Okay, now let's get into the specialty dining. So if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know that I like to go to a few specialty dinings on every cruise, just because I do love food. I love good food. And so we were able to try out most of the specialty dinings. And let's start with Onda, which was their Italian place, and that was incredible. So the location is really good. They also have seating on the outside. I will say they have the best bread out of all the restaurants that we tried. They have a great selection of bread, and really any dish that I ordered, well, I can't go wrong. It was really, really good and consistent. They also have Los Lobos, which is the Mexican restaurant. And, I come from New Mexico, and so I love Mexican food. And I thought this was just so so. We tried there once, and then we didn't go back. And yeah, I thought it was okay. The ambiance of it though was really nice, like it's pink themed, and I really liked that. Next was the Cagney Steakhouse. So this is the most popular restaurant to go to. It is really hard to get in, and thankfully we were on for two cruises because we couldn't really get in the first cruise. So this was really good. Everything that I ordered turned out really good. And it's kind of nice. They bring you this box of knives, so you get to pick out your own knife for dinner, which is really cool. The restaurant location is great, and it's a really big restaurant. I think this one's the biggest in size. So Cagney's was really good. They also have a French restaurant called Le Bistro, and this was, I think, maybe my favorite. It's a really nice small restaurant, so it's kind of intimate, and the menu was fantastic. But also, I like they have Vouv that you can order, and depending on what package you pay like $10 more or whatever. But it's really nice to have the option to have that. So yeah, that was French themed. They have escargot there. They have really nice filet. So they also have a sushi place that you don't need any reservations for. So this is the only specialty restaurant where you don't need a reservation. You can just walk in and get a table. And we found that like it was never a problem to get a table here. I think that it's good sushi, but it's not great. The menu is very small, which is totally fine. Everything that I got was okay. I will warn you though that on their appetizers, they use imitation crab, and I wasn't sure at first, but it seemed like it. And I asked the waiter, and he said it was imitation crab. So I'm just throwing that out there. That way, you know beforehand. The Seafood Palomar, I will say, has my favorite location out of all the specialties, just because it's at the top of the ship. It's on deck 16, and it has really nice views, especially at sunset. So Palomar is a good seafood restaurant. Now, what I will say from my experience, I went there twice, once on the first cruise and once on the second cruise. On the first cruise, it was absolutely fantastic. I got the Dover sole, which is what they recommend, and it was really good. The second time we went, I also had a great experience. However, my husband did not. We he had to reorder a few times, and the food just wasn't that great that time. And so I know this is with every restaurant, like it just depends on the day, they could be having an off day. But Palomar was really good, it's just not consistent. They also on deck 16 have Sukhothai, which is their Thai restaurant. And unfortunately, we did not try this restaurant, mostly because Thai food isn't really our thing. And I know that we probably should have just ventured out and tried it once, but I hear it's really good, but it just wasn't for us. They also have a hibachi restaurant, and this like was really incredible just how big it is. They added so many tables. I think I counted 18 hibachi setups, which is a lot. And I know that a lot of people like hibachi, but I never saw it completely full. So I don't know if they really needed to add it and make it that big. However, I did eat here and it was absolutely fantastic, like exceptional service and great hibachi food. Next, let's talk room service. So I did get to order room service a few times. I ordered once at night, and I will say that everything I ordered was also really good. And we also ordered it for lunch one day. We had lunch on our balcony as we did a Siloé, and it was also fantastic. And the service and the timing was also really good. So overall, for food, I was pretty impressed. Now, mind you, this is my first Norwegian cruise at all, so I had no expectations, but the food was really good. Now, let's get into drinks. So, I'm going to start off by saying we did the best or the deluxe drink package, the best drink package that you could purchase. And I'm going to start off saying by I was pretty disappointed because waters and coffees were not included. So that's a big problem. And I thought it was going to be easier to be able to get water around the ship. And I know that they have certain water stations, but it's kind of inconvenient to have to go walk on the other side of the ship to get water. So the fact that water is not included in any drink package was just a big no for me. Like I was not happy with it. Also, coffee is not included. And so they don't even have a cafe, like a cafe with coffee. They only have a Starbucks, and you have to pay extra for the Starbucks. They also have a Starbucks package that you can purchase throughout the week. So on our first cruise, we ended up not having any coffee. We just paid for a coffee at Starbucks here and there. Then on the second cruise, we did get the Starbucks package, and I think we paid like around $500 for the both of us for the week. And it was absolutely not worth it. I think that you have to drink like 10 coffees a day, which is insane. It's crazy. It's crazy that you can't get coffee or water. Another thing that I will rant about, and then we'll move on, is wine. So they don't have a good wine selection on the entire ship, really. So in the restaurants, we'd like to have a nice glass of wine with dinner, and the wine selection was very scarce. Like it was only a few options. And we found that even if you do have the drink package, you still pay extra for your glasses of wine. So that was a little, upsetting. However, the drinks were fantastic. There are so many different bars on the Norwegian Aqua, and they're all really nicely done. I did find my bar, the whiskey bar, and it was the best bar. It was always the most crowded, and that's because it was great. They make you whiskey drinks, and the bartenders there were absolutely amazing, very fun to talk to, and I really enjoyed going there before dinner and having my drinks. And I think that that's absolutely the best bar on the whole ship. And I did try other bars, but that one's the best bar and they make the best drinks there. So overall, I was happy with like the drinks from the bars. Um, but overall, like the packages and the drink packages, they just don't seem worth it. So overall for lodging, which is the room, the bathroom, the food, and the drinks, altogether, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 stars. Now let's talk about the attractions. So let's start off with the Aqua Slide Coaster. This was a big hit and it was so much fun. I did it a few times and I will say it's worth the hype. It's worth doing it. I don't think that it's like as great as advertised. I think you do it twice, maybe 3 times, and then you're done. However, it was a lot of fun. They also have the drop slide, and so this is a dry slide. So if you're wet, they will not let you on. and you are basically in a tube and the floor drops in front of you, and there you go. It was a lot of fun, but again, this is like you do it twice, maybe 3 times, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. They also have a spot called the stadium where there's lots of games, like lawn games that you can play. It has ping pong, it has beer pong, it has beanbag toss, it has shuffleboard and games like that. And so that's really cool for the kids and the teens. And they also have this cool glow court, which is an absolute must. It's basically a basketball court that is immersive, and you choose your different games and it glows and you have to beat the game before the time runs out, and it's a lot of fun. So I recommend definitely doing the glow court. That's a big hit. The arcade on the Norwegian Aqua was massive and it was filled with so many cool games. They have VR games, they have pool, they even have bowling, which is great. However, I did think that the prices for the arcade were a little pricey. You can purchase a package throughout the whole cruise, but I just don't play enough games to do that. So you can if you want to. Now let's talk about my personal favorite attraction, which was the tea time. This is putt-putt, but so much better than I've ever seen it. And although it is brand new ship, so everything was nice and clean, this was really, really fun. I did it a few times. So this is the only attraction that you do have to pay extra for. It's $5 per person, but I think it's totally worth it. So it's an immersive putt-putt, and their putt-putt is so much fun. It's bright colors, it's really cool, and each hole is a different spot in the world, which was really fun for me because I got to go to each hole and see if I'd been there before. And this was a lot of fun. It was also like a fun little date, like during the day for me and my husband. So if you're looking for a fun little date-like feel on the cruise, I say definitely do this. Now, I love me a good cruise gym, and so I was so excited since it's a brand new ship to check out the gym. I will say the gym was pretty stocked with everything that you can need, and I feel like the more that I went to the gym, I didn't like it. Um, the treadmills were not leveled, and I think that's mostly just because it's brand new ship, like they haven't gone into that. But none of the treadmills were leveled, and the first row of treadmills was really high up, or the ceiling was really low. My husband's he's not too tall. He was on the treadmill and he couldn't see out into the ocean because the wall was right in front of him. And the equipment is nice and it's new, but there's not that much equipment. So I think the gym is just okay. We did tour through the spa and it was absolutely beautiful. I think that it was like really nice spa. It has everything that you could probably want from a spa. It has your nail salon, your barber shop, it has your saunas, your steam rooms, and I thought it was really nice. Now let's get into entertainment. So I had never been on a Norwegian ship before this one, and so I had no expectations for entertainment. Let me just say that the entertainment on board the Norwegian Aqua absolutely blew me away. So there are a few shows that I went to. Let's start off with the first show that I went to, which is The Price is Right live. This was so much fun. It's a game show. You do need reservations, so book in advance, but I say that you absolutely go to this show because it was really, really fun. It's totally random, so you could get picked, and it's just really fun show. Another good show was the Fleetwood Mac tribute, and wow, the band that sang this had so much talent. I was blown away. It was a great show. They were very interactive and I loved it. They also put on shows in Sid Norman's Pub House. However, this is a small location, so you have to make sure that you get there well in advance. And but it was well worth it. It's the same band from the Fleetwood Mac tribute, and they did really, really good job. Their production show Elements was also really good, and the talent was good as well. Elements is a show similar to other cruise lines, and I thought that it exceeded, the expectations of what I knew it was, and it was really good. There is also a Prince tribute, like concert like show. However, I was not able to make this only because it's really hard to get seating there, and I didn't want to wait to get a seat. So that brings me to the seating. So I just think that there's not enough seating in the main theater. And although the main theater is beautiful, it's nice, the bottom six and it's so 6, 7, and 8, and the sixth and seventh floor, the seats come up so that way, like for instance, for the Prince show, they have the bottom level, there's no seats, it's standing only, so that way you can dance. However, it doesn't leave options for seats. And so I found that for every show, you would have to show up at least an hour early. I am not someone that likes to wait. So for the shows that we did see, for the most part, they were like nosebleed seats, which I'm totally fine with. We did have reservations for The Price is Right. We got there maybe 30 minutes before the doors opened, and we got pretty good seats. So if you're someone that doesn't mind waiting in line to get a good seat, then I guess that's for you. Overall, I'm going to give all of the extras and the entertainment on board the Norwegian Aqua a 5 out of 5 stars. So let's talk about itinerary. So I'm basically just going to talk about the Norwegian private island. So their private island is Great Stirrup Cay, and I will say first off, it is a tender port. Even though it is their private island, they have not made a dock yet, and so you do have to tender. So if you don't like tenders, just keep that in mind. However, the island itself was absolutely beautiful. If you want the ultimate beach day, this is the private island for you. Basically, what there is just big beach where you hang out. You can also rent jet skis, or you can rent out cabanas if you want. They also have a zip line that you can do from the lighthouse. And overall, I really thought that the vibe of this private island was just very beachy. So it was a really cool beach day. However, it does have a tender. So for the itinerary, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. So the overall ship was absolutely fantastic. It blew my expectations. I thought one of my favorite things, which is kind of silly, was the seating on board. And by that, I mean nice seating that faced the ocean. So there was such great seating outdoors and indoors, and all the seats are cushioned. But when you're outdoors, all of the seats are facing out. So on deck 8, they have a thing called Ocean Boulevard. It wraps around the whole ship. On one side of it, you have infinity pools and a lot of seating and day beds, but they all face out to the ocean, which is really nice. On the other side of Ocean Boulevard, you have more relaxed couches that are cushioned looking out to the ocean. I just thought that the seating was really, really good. Great selection of seating. I will say something that was kind of odd to me is that there's no jogging track on the Norwegian Aqua. So if you want to go for a run or a jog, you could do it on deck 8. However, it's more narrow, and so it's kind of hard to do that when there's people walking. So I just thought that was a weird thing. But overall, the ship was fantastic. Everything looked great. And so I'm going to give the overall Norwegian Aqua ship 5 out of 5 stars. Well, there you have it, cruising crew. That is my honest review of the Norwegian Aqua. Mind you, I spent 2 weeks on this beautiful brand new ship, and I hope that you guys will have a chance to experience it as well. Now, if you guys do have a cruise booked or want to have a cruise booked on the Norwegian Aqua, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you're excited about. Ask me questions about the attractions. I would love to hear from you. If you guys found this video helpful or enjoyed it at all, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you're always updated with all things cruising and travel. Don't forget to always seize a day, and I'll catch you in the next one.